Welcome back to Master Arabia, everybody. We are in a Game 3 between the Viper and Mr. Yo. Viper, of course, playing for Tyrants, and we have Mr. Yo playing for RBK. Currently at 1v1 in the standings, so the winner of this game will be going to the finals. I'm here with Sammy, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello everyone, Sammy here. This is actually going to be a very interesting game. We got a Mine versus Mine war, so this should be very interesting. As we saw in the first game, the Viper did not do so well. In the second game, he made it up. So it all comes down to this. Hopefully, let's see what this one happens.
Yeah, Mr. Yo's going forward in all 2 games so far. So the question now on what we want to see is, do you think he's going to go forward again, or do you think he's going to try and sit this one out and just be a little bit more passive with it?
Hopefully, actually, he doesn't go forward in this one, because I think he kind of learned his lessons from the last game, because the Viper scouted him out, and that was his biggest downfall, or else he would have probably won that game too.
Yeah, it was very close, but the fact that Viper caught him going across the map there with those militia, I believe it was the 5 militia just off the top of my head that actually caught him and hit his villagers, that really impacted on his forward time. He couldn't get any units out because he didn't have those extra buildings up that he was going to need, and he just couldn't put the pressure on that he needed early enough to get there. Actually,
exactly.
Speaking of that as well, were you surprised that he kept going forward after that? I would have expected him to turn around and wall in, but he kept going forward.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, okay, he caught you, might as well go back, wall up, boom out. Let's see what you're gonna do.
And he just went forward again. You definitely get the props from me there. Probably one of the ballsiest things I've seen in a while. So, Viper and Mr. Yo both had a big path to get in here. Of course, I said this in the first game, but let's mention it again. Mr. Yo actually knocked out Feudal team member in, I think it was the round before this one, so round 5. And I don't know if that was expected or not. I think that Feudal was the favourite going in there, just because he's a well-known player, and Mr. Yo is being quite recent, actually transferring over from, I think it was the Chinese zone.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this before in some. I'm not sure, but yes, it was a Chinese zone, so we should welcome into the community, and he's doing actually very good, rising up to playing one of the top players. As Viper is definitely one of the top players up there.
At the moment, he's just been smashing away. But like we said, it could definitely be the fact he's playing random that really impacted on his first games. Because in the last round, again, I'll just say Viper went up against I think it was Mahori, and I think he's from Brazil. And I don't think that was a Smurf either. It is said, like, lots of people think it's Riot or whoever, but it is said that he's a new player, and that's awesome. Viper actually lost the first game in that, which was a Hun war, just like the first game of this series. So that it could definitely be affecting his play that he's not playing with Hun so much now.
Actually, Turk, I did my homework on that. After you mentioned that in the first 2 rounds, I did my homework on this. Viper, as I said, Random Civil is the Viper, and on his Random Civil account, what he's playing is mostly Random Civ versus Huns. That's what he's mostly playing, and that's what is said to be playing, and I've actually checked, and yes, it's true.
Because, like, 80% of players play as Huns. But the fact is, still, he's not used to not having to build houses, not used to going that way, he's not used to getting cavalry archers out. It's just not used to the style of play. Not, of course, saying he can, but because everyone plays Hun Wars so much, it's just every little detail seems to count now.
Well, yeah, I mean, Huns is like one of the most simplest civ out there. I mean, they get no houses. That really takes the stress off of people about making sure they make enough houses and not get pop blocked in here. Yeah,
definitely. So, that's probably about enough of that. Let's have a look at the map. How's Viper doing for scouting right now?
Viper is doing very good, actually. He found where Red's lumber is. He found where his mill is. He found his town. So he knows where Mr. Yo's gold mine is too. Also, he's just about to find Mr. Yo's boar. Let's see if he steals it in here. Likely he won't, because you don't see that kind of stuff in the high level gaming up here. You see that most of them in like the 19Ks or so.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a few actually. Lots of players don't like to though. In tournament though, it is every man for himself. That's a known fact, and lots of people will actually steal boars just to annoy the hell out of their opponent. But, you know, there's players out there. I don't think I've ever seen Viper steal a boar in, like, a tournament game. I've seen Feudal do it, and there was actually a great lure by him a while ago where I don't think he even got hit by the boar on the way back to his base. So that was absolutely brilliant. But the fact remains still, I wouldn't expect Viper to steal it. He doesn't usually steal boar from what I've seen.
Speaking on that, I've actually heard, like, this is the reason that my respect for Viper is really great, other than the fact that he's a very very good player is the fact that if he finds your sheep, he will send it to your town center.
I have actually seen that. And that is so gentlemanlike.
Exactly. That's when, like I told you before, I found him off of your channel, and I wasn't the biggest fan when I first found him. But then after I saw him doing these kind of things, I was like, damn, I didn't expect it to come out of him.
Yeah. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the map positioning for Viper. We have this gold over here, the main one, touching on the tree line, so he's going to lose a few spaces there if he really wants to saturate that gold. Not too bad though. Got the forward stones though in the same position, and if we look at Mr. Yo's stone, he's got a back stone. Of course, these are main wars, well, mine war. So what are you expecting to see out of the stone positioning? Because the forward stone, of course, more easy to harass. So Mr. Yo has the option there to wall off and try and get that castle up nice and quickly. And he also has the option to put that pressure onto Viper and stop Viper getting a castle up, because these stones are all really forward.
Speaking of the stone, being mines, you will definitely need your stone, because if you're mines, we all know, we all expect this, you're going to go for those archers, because they're very cheap, and they're very fast. So I am thinking, because this game counts so much for Mr. Yo, hopefully he plays defensively in here, walls himself off, and tries to go harass Viper's goal, Viper's stone, my bad. Because if Viper loses his castle, Mr. Yo has definitely got the upper hand in this game.
Definitely, because as we see in most of Mine Wars, it does come down to mostly that plumed archer count, because they managed to get in there with the harassment, and that count's always increased by the amount of castles you have. More castles you can have, more units you can have coming out at a time. That's just a known fact.
That's for sure. I've seen, I'm pretty sure I've done even a mega random on, mine versus mine. And it was very interesting, because it all comes down to whoever has more army count, as you said. That's all that matters.
And the army count is pretty much always at least 90% plumed archers.
Exactly. There will be plumed archers or backed up by eagle warriors, but most of the time it's just plumed archers.
Yeah, plumed archers for castle. Once it gets to Imperial, generally that's when we see the big eagle warrior boom. As we saw in game 2 with the Aztecs, Mr. Yo just resigning out as soon as his opponent hit Imperial and the eagle warriors started coming towards his base. He knew then what was coming. He knew he wasn't going to be able to do a lot about it. Makes sense to me.
Exactly. I actually got a question on that. Have you ever seen anybody counter an eagle warrior rush like that? Like they don't just quit like Mr. Yo did in the last game. Have you ever seen anybody counter it with champions, two-handed swordsmen, or even jaguar warriors?
Cavalier in one game. Usually people can't go champions because it takes a long time to get those upgrades. Not the fact that they're all expensive, but the fact you've got to do one for every level, then 2 in Imperial to get up to that champions. I've seen them counter with Jaguar Warriors before, which is a definite thing which you see in Aztec Wars, but honestly they don't get countered too much. It's generally the first person to Imperial and can just boom and get the massive Eagle Warriors generally seems to take it.
That's what I saw in my game too, and we saw that last game, because I always expect, I see people just resigning once the other player hits Imperial and just spams in those Eagle Warriors. I always wanted to see the two-handed swordsman and all that. Maybe we'll see that in the next round with Tim and Jordan. What do you think?
Tim and Jordan's definitely going to be an interesting matchup between those two. I honestly cannot tell who's going to win. Jordan, definitely an Arabia champ. The guy knows how to exploit everything. But Tim, he knows how to wall like a champion. I don't think Jordan's going to be able to get in there and get the harassment he usually gets. So it's going to be interesting.
Yes, and we can see that Mr. Yo is going for the stone wall. That is very interesting. Going for the heavy stone wall. He's leaving the other stone out of his base. What do you think he's going to do? Completely stonewall himself and just play defensively and try to boom into Imperial, or do you think he's going to go for castle?
If he's going to put a stone wall here, I would definitely expect the rest of the base to be stonewalled. Most likely go for the stone and then get that castle up and try and get some plumed archers out. He's ahead in score at the moment, but as we know, in Feudal Age and Dark Age in particular, the scores don't really mean a lot because a lot of it does come down to scouting. And if you kill one unit, you're going to be ahead by a lot. And that's just how the score seems to work. So, just like any game, the scores aren't particularly reliable of who's going to win.
Yes, I've seen actually in one video between Zach, Zero Empires, if many people don't know, him playing against the Viper, which was a very interesting game, and people commented down below, Zach was paying attention too much to that score than he needed to.
Yeah, exactly. The scores are the one thing that can freak you out. If we look at Viper's base right now, he's actually going for a large skirmisher mix, as we can see, transitioning to archers now. He's got that double archery range out, which is really important. Haven't seen the blacksmith, though, yet, I don't believe, no. Mr. Yo having the one archery range and the blacksmith already up, so he's going to have the advantage there on tech, but he may get outmassed, so that's always a problem on top of that.
Do you think he's spending too much time on his walling with those 4 villagers, or do you think he just should be spending less time walling and spending more time using other resources to wall, making houses and all that, so he doesn't get pop blocked?
Well, I think we've actually seen him get population blocked a few times so far in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more. But using villagers to wall, of course, it does really impact your time, because it's the same thing as having a villager not gathering, really. I mean, they are doing something useful, but it is going to hurt your total income of resources. And getting attacked by some wolves down here in the right-hand corner. Looks like if he had one villager there, that villager would have been gone. Luckily, he had the 2 within that villager surviving out there with 18 HP. Viper currently scouting Mr. Yo, looking for an entrance, and he can't seem to find one right now. So I think Viper's noticed, and he's probably going to try and boom it out as well. Saying that, though, he has still got quite a few archers queued up.
Yes, and speaking about that scout that he's doing, he just spotted out that Mr. Yo's has stone walls up, so I wonder what he's going to do. He's probably going to boom it out. We can already see farms coming up.
Yeah, lots of farms going down nice and early. Mostly archer mix as well, which means he's going to have quite a lot of food available. Only currently sitting on 100 food though, so it doesn't look like he wants to advance up to castle yet. Might try and get some harassment in. Possibly he could put up a tower on the other side of this wood just to get him off there. Might be able to get a little bit of harassment from in this little nook here next to that wood. But overall, I don't think there's a lot he's going to do. And here comes a response from Viper. The response is to stonewall himself in. Something we do not see a lot from Viper.
That is very interesting. He is playing very differently in these games than he has been playing, as he's told playing, because it's said that he does not wall himself in. He's the aggressive player. As we saw him do it in the second game, he used a wall. I was very surprised when I saw that. I'm pretty sure you were actually not, because you make a lot of his videos, do you not?
Yeah, I actually cover him a lot, just because of the fact he uses random civilization. That's what people want to see. They want to see something different. But the fact is, along this as well, if your opponent walls, you really need to get a wall up as well. Naturally, just because of the fact they can hit you anywhere and you can't hit them. You just need to be really careful about that. And we've got some of Viper's forces moving across the map right now, about to hit Mr. Yo's base. What he's going to be able to do, I don't think there's going to be a lot, honestly, because, like we've said, Mr. Yo stonewalled himself in, and we're going to be in for quite a long game here, I believe. I was seeing that second archery range finally popping up for Mr. Yo, and Viper does have that blacksmith up now, which is also important when you're dealing with archers.
Speaking of that, because of the Stonewall, do you think they're going to be going into the Castle Age War with the battering rams and mangonels, or do you think they're just going to sit there and go up to Imperial Age?
Well, of course, it's definitely possible. Imperial, I wouldn't be surprised, mainly due to the fact that they're going to have a lot of resource available, because neither of them have really been harassed. Castle Age, you could see some warfare, however, I do think most of it will happen in Imperial. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a few mangonels come out, maybe a battering ram or 2 in Castle, just due to the fact that that's if someone really wants to put the pressure on, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone go up into Imperial Age and just deck out those archers completely and use them and just try to harass to death rather than actually killing their opponent.
Do you think the Viper is going to definitely use this advantage he has over Mr. Yo at this moment? Because Mr. Yo has spent so much time in walling his base up that he's losing to the Viper by 100 points in score, and he has just walled himself in, meaning he has no map control at all, because the Viper's army is controlling the map solely to the fact that he is outside of his wall.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, but the thing is, Mr. Yo walling, it forced Viper to wall as well, even though he's only doing it with 1 villager, which means it's not as big a task, because Mr. Yo had to get that wall up as soon as possible, because he didn't want an extra fast rush coming in from Viper, so it meant dedicating more resources, and by resources I mean villagers, to it, so that's going to really hurt, but he's forced Viper to wall off as well, but he's only using 1 villager, so it shouldn't impact on Viper too badly.
Looking at the Viper, I think he's a bit paranoid in this game because he has put up a tower up in here. Do you think he's thinking Mr. Yo will rush from behind, or what do you think about that?
Well, naturally, as we've said so far, it's a mine war, and that comes down to stone. If you can't get that castle up, you're going to be definitely behind, because those bloomed archers are so cheap and effective to get out. So if any harassment comes in, it's best to be able to kill that off really easily. Considering all his forces are down in Mr. Yo's base and Mr. Yo's Stonewall, the area we're in, for all Viper knows, there could be an army marching out across the map right now to kill off these villagers. But the fact is, he's got this tower here, so if they do come, they are most likely going to have to retreat out. Otherwise, those villagers can just garrison, start killing off those units without too much trouble. Speaking of that, we actually have Viper about to go up to Castle Age. Mr. Yo actually behind in the Castle Age time. Not surprising considering he had to do all this walling, but behind by about a fourth of the time, I reckon.
It's probably. It says they're having a nice chat right there. I missed it. Did you see what they're saying? Because I was paying attention to Viper screen mostly.
Mr. Yo, I think he said something about this is good for you because he's been playing Tim so much, so he knows how to deal with walls. I think that was the gist he was trying to get across. And Mr. Yo actually moving out across the map now, looking to get some harassment in on Viper. And Viper might scout this actually with these archers coming across. Let's have a look. If I can click the right buttons. No, he did not scout that army coming through there. And here we go. Mr. Yo coming in. Mr. Yo has not seen that tower yet. And he still hasn't seen it. And there we go. Being garrisoned in there. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Getting this tower up here. It means he's not going to be able to harass this stone. Well, too easily. And the gold over here should be fairly safe as well, because that has all been walled in. Don't think he should be able to reach over there yet. And Viper just beating up that barracks. Nothing real interesting happening at this stage, nothing that we can see infinitive. Doesn't look like either player is going to go straight to Imperial Age. We do see the 2 extra town centers coming down from Viper. Mr. Yo still needing to advance up.
Do you think Viper is planning on a fast Imperial Age with the two town centers coming up? Because if you look at Mr. Yo, he is still rocking that 1 town center right there.
Well, he's only just advanced up, so he hasn't had the option to put him up yet. And 22 minutes, that's a pretty late castle. But, you know, both of them have got units out and going for the harass. They haven't gone for it. Mr. Yo's put up this massive stone wall. So it sounds about right. But Mr. Yo putting a castle up right now near this barracks. It's going to stop anything coming in through there. And it's in not a too bad location. It is at the bottom of the hill there. But Mr. Yo's forces coming around the side here as well. Going to be able to sandwich Viper's forces. However, Viper already having that +2 range and attack and the crossbowman upgrade means he might be able to out-micro here.
So I think this is going to make a big difference right here, because this is his only army he has basically, other than, yeah, I believe this is the only army he has out there, because this is his only chance to making sure the Viper does not move forward with another castle and such.
This is actually some insane micro. Are you watching this? You got the heal bonus, lost 1 unit, killed off 3. That's how you micro, guys. Like a champ, especially when your opponent doesn't have ballistics. Move as much as possible.
Exactly. That's the reason I was not able to speak too much, because that's why I was just watching that. I was like, wow.
This is insane. Lots of people, I can guarantee that some people are going to look at that and go, that's not too great, but that's actually amazing. So, another town center coming up for Mr. Yo. He's finally got the 2 extra coming up. Means he is going to be behind Viper by quite a bit, because once you get those town centers up and start getting more villages out, you can just absolutely skyrocket above your opponent. We are seeing a lot of farms actually coming out for Viper right now, so I wouldn't be surprised actually if we see him just boom up a bit more and hit Imperial, just due to the fact he's got so many farms out when it's mainly an archer civilization. Castle finally going up for Viper up the front there, but not a lot of harassment getting done by either player, just because they're both stonewalled in and they're both sitting back quite easily. Few plumed archers out now for Mr. Yo, getting some harassment on these, well, not harassment, but getting some damage on these crossbows, but nothing too game-changing yet.
Yes, we can't really say much because of that, and thank you for all the people that came over to my channel to check my things out. I really greatly appreciate for that, Turk. That really helped my subscriber count. That I don't pay attention to that, but thank you so much for that.
It is no problem at all, mate. And
so we're just basically sitting. Yes, you're watching this right here.
Definitely watching it.
I think the Viper got this one.
I think yeah, especially because he's got that so many more skirmishes now that are just going to be able to take up that extra damage. And I don't think that skirmisher was even attacking there for a second.
Yeah, just like staying idle there.
Viper managing to take that one not too badly, but here comes the plumed archers. So going to come around here. Looks like they will get the hill advantage on them as well. Mistio does have the first armor upgrade. They're looking quite even for upgrades right now. Plumed archers, of course, managing to get a fair bit of damage on, but again, Viper just microing like a champion here, getting as much damage out of these units as he possibly can.
Yes, I don't think it looks like Mr. Yo is using that patrol key at all. I believe is yeah, it doesn't look like he's using that patrol key at all.
And it's down to really small numbers, but the micro still counts. Skirmishers versus plumed archers, so you can guess how that's going to end. Oh, 1-on-1 now. But skirmisher versus archer, I'm pretty sure everybody knows how that's going to end.
But once again, yes, it's true, but...
Skirmisher got beaten, I was not expecting that.
Well, plumed archer is basically a beefed up, is this a beefed up skirmishers in a way, if you ask me.
Well, they just don't have that high damage. Well, not damage, they just don't have that really high pierce armor to start with. They do have that one, of course, which they do start with, but nothing crazy. And Mr. Yo losing that last plumed archer down there to Viper's plumed archers. So, do we see another castle from Viper? No, we are seeing a monastery go up. So, I'm surprised. He's either going to be collecting relics with that then, or, because I wouldn't expect him to be needing it to go up to castle, because he's already up to Imperial, because he's already got this castle down, which means he's free to advance whenever he wants.
Do you think he is going to use Eagle Wars at all in this game? I mean, most people don't use it against, in Mine Wars, because they're just so cheap. Do you think he might use it in here, just to get into his base?
It's definitely an option available, but the fact he's still only got that one barracks up, he's got a lot of resources there actually available, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to Imperial really soon. But I think we're more likely going to see just full plumed archers here. It looks like he's dedicating a lot of time into that. He's got most of his upgrades for it. And I'm expecting probably to see an Imperial, just elite plumed archer, trebuchet, skirmisher mix, honestly. Because I don't think Mr. Yo is going to have the option right now, because he's been really passive defensive here. And the fact is, still, he's going to have those plumed archers out, and he's not going to really have a chance to get Eagle Warriors out, so he's not going to force Viper to transition at all.
Looking at Mr. Yo's lumber, he's looking very, very, very... Sorry, I'm losing the word right there. He's looking into very deep trouble right there. There we go.
Thin on lumber
he has very few on lumber. I believe. Let me check how much it is. He only has 11 on lumber here, and he's having all these farmers. I don't think he can replenish these farms or have enough lumber to create an army of plumed archers, and that's all that matters in here. Yeah,
speaking of, well, we actually have the market going up as well, which means he is definitely in the area to sell off some resources. Viper is actually advancing up to Imperial Age now. He's about a third of the way there. Mr. Yo starting to advance as well, so Mr. Yo is going to make it to Imperial, but I don't think he's going to have the option to transition into Eagle Warriors, because he's just not going to have the resources there. He's not going to have the barracks up that he's going to need to. He's not going to have the resources to get all his researches done.
Yes, I'm seeing the chances of Eagle Warriors used in this game dropping by the second, because once, by the looks of it, with only that one barrack, that one castle coming over here, I'm pretty sure Viper should move forward to castle, seeing that he has all these plumed archers.
Yeah, if we look at Viper's stone count as well, it's on 533, and he's going on to a second stone mine there. It appears to me he's going to go straight up to Imperial and try and get that forward castle down and get the damage in with that. That's always a good way to bust through walls as well.
Yes, other than the ram.
Other than the ram, of course.
Yes. Looking back, I believe Mayans get siege rams, by the way. I wonder if they'll be using that, because it all comes down to who can lay the most hits, because I've seen some people always commenting, how do I counter archers, how do I counter Britons, and one of the best way to counter an archer civilization is by using those rams to soak up damage.
Definitely. If you can just bring some of them in, because every hit they take is a hit that's not using a unit. Even if they're microing really well, there will be those archers that shoot off straight away and just hit a few random rams. And that is absolutely great to have. We do see another castle going up for Mr. Yo, so it looks like he's going to be staying in that plumed archer mix. I wouldn't expect to see an Eagle Warrior mix from either player right now, actually. And looks like Viper's about to move forward with these villages, and we were absolutely correct. He's going to be going with the forward castle there. Not right on the wall zone, but on this hill here in an easy enough place to defend.
If Mr. Yo had moved his castle up by just a bit, so he would be on a complete top of the hill, I think he would have been in a much better position, but I think he was worried about being attacked right there. Do you think
definitely.
So?
Viper has a massive army of plumed archers here that just Mr. Yo would not have been able to deal with. And of course, because this castle's on the low ground here, low ground compared to this little step here that I'm pointing out. It's going to take more damage from Trebuchet Fire, which is really interesting. Another thing as well, Viper's going to have such good positioning here, because he's on the top of this hill. He's not going to be able to be flanked from the back. We've actually got Trebuchets coming in as well, and Mr. Yo is just not going to have the ability to take out these Trebuchets, because he's going to have a lot of plumed archers surrounding it, a castle all on the high ground, of course, and this castle's too far back to give any supporting fire. So unless Mr. Yo has some really good siege equipment, I can't expect to see him actually taking these trebuchets down. We are seeing the siege workshop go down for Viper as well, right next to that castle, because like I said, it's a really easily defendable position that we've got right now from Viper.
Yes, and looking back over here onto the top left of the screen, we see Eagle Warriors over here. I think they were trying to find a way into Viper's base, cause quite a bit of damage as much as possible. But we see over here, we got 2 trebuchets coming in. We got another, we got Siege Workshop coming in. I think this is going to be a good game for Mr. Yo soon, because Mr. Yo, all he can do is get those plumed archers out. Plumed archers versus trebuchet, backed up with the mass number army the Viper has. I don't think Mr. Yo can turn the stable around now.
Yeah, and exactly what we saw there. The trebuchet fire did start coming on this castle. Mr. Yo moved out to try and get some damage on that trebuchet, but plumed archers were immediately picked off by that castle. So there's just not a lot he's going to be able to do to actually defend this right now. Viper having all of his attack and range upgrades, missing out on chemistry though, does have that +2 armor, which is really important. And castle going down right now for Mr. Yo. That is really going to hurt his plumed archer count. Mr. Yo already having that chemistry upgrade, and neither player having the last armor upgrade, which is really interesting to see at this stage in the game. And neither player going up to elite plumed archer at the stage as well, which is something to note.
It's very interesting that they got the chemistry upgrade, but not the last armor upgrade, because if you ask me, that +2 armor is much more important than the +1 attack. Because unless of course it's a range one, because the range is more important, but this is chemistry only does the +1 attack. I'm interested why they did that. Do you think they just did it because they couldn't
well, naturally,
get the upgrade?
Chemistry is an expensive upgrade, so I can't really see why he would, unless he just thinks he's going to be able to get a lot more damage on with his micro and take a lot of his hits. And actually, we see there from Viper, Viper has actually got the +4 armor before chemistry, which is something that we haven't seen. Mr. Yo is in a lot of trouble right now. He's about to lose the Siege Workshop on low ground. In fact, he just lost that in one just beret of trebuchet fire. And it looks like this wall over here is going to go down. I would expect to see a good game from Mr. Yo any minute now.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. It's going to be in just a matter of seconds, if you ask me.
Seconds?
Yeah. Any second.
And there we go. That's good game for
Mr.
Yo. Just couldn't hold on right now. Had that castle taken down. And the next castle was next. And apart from that, he didn't have a lot of things that he could get units out of, honestly. He had quite a good economy. He was currently on, let's check his population if I can. And it doesn't look like it wants to jump over. I hate that at the end of the recorded games.
Yeah.
Oh well. Viper's sitting on 150 population anyway, so he did have quite a large, well, economy force out. He did have those 3 town centers, which naturally helped a lot, especially because he got him up a little bit faster than Mr. Yo.
Actually, since you know what Viper's population is on, I think we can work it out, because I was on the other guy, and he has 106 population.
106, so did lose quite a few units there, and was quite a fair way behind, ever since Viper really took that earlier castle. So, that is Game 3, guys. Viper will be going on to the final round of Master Arabia. He'll be facing off against either Tim or Jordan in that, and they will be crowned the Master of Arabia. Thank you to Sammy for casting this with me. If you'd like to say goodbye.
Later, guys. See you guys next time.
And I'll see you guys in the next games. Also, remember to post some comments at the bottom of the video, just so we know if you want to see more dual commentaries like this or not. We'll see you guys soon.